that which is. Know therefore that God exacteth. Remember this. Know therefore that God exacteth of thee less than thine iniquity deserveth. Let's understand why he said that. Let's go understand that last part. Why did he say God exacteth of thee less than thine iniquity deserveth? Let's go to Ezra chapter 9. And let's go see who was he even talking to and why did he say that? We're still along the lines, the same subject. Genesis chapter 6, proving that those angels who we think are angels are men. Ezra 9 and verse 1. Now when these things were done, the princes came to me saying, check this out, the people of Israel and the priests and the Levites have not separated themselves from the people of the lands, doing according to their abominations. There we go with these nations again. Even the Canaanites, the Hittites, the Perizzites, and the Jebusites, the Ammonites, the Moabites, the Egyptians, and the Amorites. So who are the daughters of men? Right? Who are the daughters of men that the sons of God came into? It was these seven nations. And they can't separate themselves from them for some reason. These are the ones who now have the mingled doctrine. You know, I can do the physical and the spiritual. Like I'm gonna just remember the spiritual, but I'm just sacrifice myself every day for this physical carnal ordinances that I got now from the camps. No. You put that stuff alone. You don't mingle anything. Quit mingling the spirit and the flesh. Let's go to Romans. Let's go to. Let's skip down to verse 2. Let's go to verse 2. For they have taken of their daughters for themselves and for their sons, so that, check this out, so that the holy seed have mingled themselves with the people of those lands. Yea, the hands of the princes and rulers. Who are the princes and rulers? The people in the church. The hands of the princes and rulers have been chief in this trespass. So hold up. So if the hands of the rulers and the chief, if the brother behind the pulpit is playing chief in this trespass, then this trespass must, just like Ecclesiastes said, it must, just like they did it back then, it must be going on right now. And it's going to be going on until whenever it stops. Whenever there's no more folk. So that the holy seed, what is the holy seed? Truth. Skip down to verse 4. Then were assembled unto me everyone that trembled at the words of the house of the God of Israel, because of the transgression of those that had been carried away. And I sat astonished until the evening sacrifice. Skip down to verse 10. And said, O my God, I am ashamed and blessed to lift up my face to thee, my God. For our iniquities are increased over our head, and our trespass is grown up unto the heavens. Check this out. For since the days of our fathers have we been in great trespass unto this day. What is the trespass that he's trying to reconcile with? The same one that we've been reading the whole time. Them marrying these nations and they're not supposed to do it. Mingling the truth with the lie. And for our iniquities have we, our king and our priests, been delivered into the hands of the king of the lands, to the sword, to captivity, and to spoil, and to confusion of faces, as it is this day. And now for a little space, grace has been showed from the Lord our God to leave us a remnant to escape. Remember, what did we read in Isaiah chapter 66? That he's going to send those that escape this tree, that escape Satan the devil, that escape eating this spiritual swine flesh. He's going to send those people back to the nations so that they can get raised and live in newness of life, just like they have been raised, live in newness of life. Just like they have been touched. So he said, the Lord left them a remnant to escape, and to give us a nail in his holy place, that our God may lighten our eyes and give us a little reviving in our bondage. So what is the job of the person who escaped? To give light to your eyes. What light is he talking about? The light that's in the eyes that's inside of your head, not the eyes in front of your head. It already has light. You already see. So he's talking about another set of eyes getting light, and it's your understanding, people. It's your understanding. And that is the reviving that he's going to give you in your bondage. Verse 9. For we were bondmen, yet our God hath not forsaken us in our bondage, but hath extended mercy unto us in the sight of the kings of Persia. And we got the king of Persia all messed up because we think the king of Persia, the first thing we're going to do is go to the map and try to find out where Persia is and how does this relate to what I'm talking about. I mean, that's the wrong. Why would you go to another book and let that be your foundation if you claim that the Bible is your foundation? Stop. So the king of Persia, just like when you read Ethiopia in the Bible, you think it's the people talking about the people over there in Ethiopia. No, he calls you spiritual Ethiopians, just like he calls you spiritual Egyptians, just like he calls you Assyrians, and it just don't stop. But we can't see that. Why? Because our eyes are not lightened. He has extended mercy unto us in the sight of the kings of Persia, to give us a reviving, to set up the house of our God, and to repair the desolations thereof. Remember, we just got finished reading and that Zerubbabel that was going to lay the foundation and all this. Look, that work is still going on right now, and it's not going to stop. And to give us a wall in Judah and in Jerusalem. And now, our God, what shall we say after this? For we have forsaken thy commandments, which thou hast commanded by thy servant the prophet, saying, the land unto which ye go to possess it is an unclean land with the filthiness of the people, of the lands, with their abominations, which have filled it from one end to the other with their uncleanness. Check this out, verse 12. Now therefore, give not your daughters unto their sons. This is what we read in Genesis chapter 6. The sons of God came into the daughters of men, and they made them wives, and they married. Stop marrying. Go back to your first love. And we're just marrying, and it's a spiritual marriage. We're not talking about nobody getting no piece of paper or ring. We're not talking about somebody walking down the aisle at a high place. Or church, you call it. It says, now therefore give not your daughters unto their sons, neither take their daughters unto your sons, nor seek their peace or their wealth forever, that ye may be strong and eat the good of the land, and leave it for an inheritance to your children forever. So what is the message? That we were not supposed to marry. We understand that our fathers sinned, and we're not supposed to do the same thing that our fathers have done. Verse 13. Now this is why we read in Job when he said he's not giving us what we deserve. Verse 13. And after all that is come upon us for our evil deeds, the what? From marrying and mingling, and for our great trespass, this is the trespass that these angels sinned, they kept not their first estate, seeing that thou, our God, hast punished us less than our iniquities deserve. There it is. And hast given us such deliverance as this. This is why when we read in Job, this is why he said that. So who was he talking to? He was talking to the congregation of the Lord. The iniquity is mingling the holy seed. Verse 14, should we again break thy commandment? Okay, we understand that they messed up. Should we do the same thing? No, we should not break thy commandment and join in affinity with the people of these abominations. Would not thou be angry with us till thou hast consumed us, so that there should be no remnant nor escaping? So who is he talking to? He was talking to the children of Israel. He said, I'm not going to give you what you deserve for the great sin or the great trespass that you trespassed against me. I'm not going to do that. But yet your pastor tells you that these angels in Jude are angels that have wings, and they don't even exist. Stop. Let's get a little deeper. Still same subject. Let's go to Galatians chapter 4. Let's get the first half of wisdom when he said there's double to that which is. Because we're talking about the same thing. We're talking about two sets of people, one going into another and them creating spiritual children, but it's false. They're false. It's words though, it's false. Let's continue. Let's go to Galatians chapter 4. I said that. Galatians chapter 4 and 21, which says, tell me, ye that desire to be under the law, do ye not hear the law? No, that is a rhetorical question. Because if we read in Isaiah chapter 6, he said that he told Isaiah what to go tell the people: hear but don't hear, see but don't see, make their eyes shut. Oh, something key. He said, lest they see with their eyes and hear with their ears and understand with their heart and convert and be healed. This is how you convert and be healed. You don't go under water and think that the physical water is going to wash away all your sins. No, you have to be converted. You open your eyes, hear, see and see, and then you're going to be converted. That physical water is not going to do anything for you. Oh, we're just being obedient. You're not being obedient because we're not even speaking the same language that the Lord is speaking. How can you be obedient to a language that you don't understand? Until you convert yourself. Until you convert yourself. So it's not in carnal ordinances or eating unleavened bread or wearing fringes or Lord's Supper or nothing like that. If you believe that the wine and the bread is the Lord's body and stuff, that's not doing anything for you. That's not what you're supposed to be eating. You're supposed to be eating with these, not with these. Not with your mouth. Verse 22, for it is written that Abraham had two sons, the one by a bondmaid, the other by a free woman. So Abraham had two sons, one by a bondmaid, other by a free woman. The two sons we know as Ishmael and Isaac. Ishmael was of the bondwoman, Isaac was of the free woman. Verse 23, but he who was of the bondwoman was born after the flesh, but he of the free woman was born by promise. Which things are an allegory? So the Bible straight up let us know that this is an allegory. So he's telling us, for these are the two covenants. The one from Mount Sinai, which gendereth to bondage, which is Agar. So the covenant that came from Mount Sinai, some people say it's the 10 Commandments broken twice. No. The two covenants came from the one law that came from Sinai, which was the cursing and the blessing. And it all boils down to this judgment. The people who keep the commandments of the Lord, they are going to get the blessing, which is everlasting life. The people who don't keep the commandments, the people who are walking in darkness, they're going to get the curse and damnation forever. That is the two covenants. And one of those covenants is going to one of those group of people. And just remember, the congregation of the wicked is not going to stand in the congregation of the Lord. Just keep that in mind. Verse 25, for this Agar is Mount Sinai in Arabia. And I know it said, oh, how can it be Jerusalem? This mountain is Jerusalem, but when you hear Arabia, you think, oh, it's not, you're talking about Arabian. No, we are the Arabian that pinched the tent. We are the Arabian in the sea, just like we're the dragon in the sea. Well, not me, just the rebels in Jerusalem. They're the dragon in the sea. Mount Sinai in Arabia, and answereth what? To Jerusalem. Check this out. And is in bondage with her children, but Jerusalem, no, I'm sorry. Go back up. Go back up to, hold up, I missed something. I missed something. Promise things. Oh, okay. All right. Somehow that was erased. It says, verse 25, for this Agar is Mount Sinai in Arabia, and answereth to Jerusalem, which now is. Remember, we just read in Job that there is double to that which is. And we just got finished reading. The reason why he even said that is because of what he said before, that the sin that Jerusalem created by marrying and mingling this holy seed, they weren't supposed to do that. And he said that God was not going to give them what they deserve. So right after that, he said there's double to that which is, but it's Jerusalem that which is, and is in bondage with her children. So there is a double to Jerusalem, and he's going to let us know. He said, the very next verse, he said, but the Jerusalem which is above is free, which is the mother of us all. So you have the Jerusalem that is above, and then you have the Jerusalem that is from below. The Jerusalem that is from above is from Sarah, born of the free woman. They are of the covenant. They are Isaac, right? The Jerusalem from below is Hagar. They are going to get the covenant of the curse. The one on top, the blessing. The one on bottom, the curse. That's it. That is the double to that which is. And when you know that, you can understand doctrines like, who are angels? Are angels men? Genesis chapter 6. Because let's keep going. Let's go to Genesis chapter 1. So the ones who walk in the Spirit, they are the sons of God, which is what? The Jerusalem from above. And then you have the ones that don't walk in the Spirit, the ones who are in darkness, they are from the Jerusalem from below. But what happened in the beginning? The sons of God, the Jerusalem from above, came into the daughters of men, and they mingled and married the holy seed that they had that made them a nation. They sold out. So now they're producing children of the devil. Now the land is full of murderers, that the Bible said. And what do you murder with? Words. Genesis chapter 1 and verse 1. We're going to do some skipping. So in the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. Right? Okay. Verse 3. Now remember, in part 1 where we read in Ezekiel that God actually called Jerusalem heaven and earth. Give ear, O heaven. I don't know if we read that or not, but give ear, O heaven. Hear, O earth. So he's not talking about to the heavens or the physical earth that have no ears. He's calling his people heaven and earth. They have ears to hear. When last time you went and spoke to a tree talking about hear me? Hear me out, tree. Come on. So in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Verse 3, skip down to verse 3. And God said, let there be light, and there was light. You already know what the light is. The light is the law of the Lord. Now, we read that in one place, but how come we don't carry that over to Genesis chapter 6 right here and act like God's language is the same? We're going to add, and this is exactly what I'm talking about. We mingling that spirit with the carnal understanding. We know that the light of the Lord, but when we read this, you want to put that flesh on there. You want to put that carnal understanding. When that's not going to give you light, the carnal mind leads to death. And God said, let there be light, and there was light. Skip down to verse 6. And God said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. So you have waters, which are what? What did we read in Revelation 17? That the waters which thou sawest were where the horse sitteth were peoples, multitudes, nations, and tongues. Well, he separated the waters from the waters. So you got water up here, and you got water right here. But it's not water, physical water. It's people in different estates, brothers and sisters, different mindsets. You have the people that their mind stays in heavenly places, and you have the people who are in darkness, who are just in the earth. So let's go to Ezekiel chapter 6. No, we don't have to go there. Let's go to verse 7. So hold on. So first I want to make a note. So you have the firmament that divides or separates the group of people from another group of people, right? So you have the waters, then the firmament that separated them, and then you have some more group of people. This is the Jerusalem from above. This is the Jerusalem from below. Verse 7, And God made the firmament and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. And it was so. So now we have these groups of people. This is the people of the light. This is the people of darkness. He separated them from the beginning, brothers and sisters. They were already separated. He separated them from the very beginning. Here in Genesis chapter 1, you actually see judgment spiritually. But if you're looking for physical clouds and physical sun and moon and stuff, you're not going to see it. So let's go see what the firmament. Let's go read about the firmament. Psalms chapter 19. Let's go to Psalms chapter 19, because the firmament is what actually makes the separation from these waters. And I'm gonna tell you right now, it's the same. It's the same that we read: the angels, the powers, the rulers, the kingdom of righteousness. It's men who have the light, the understanding on how to discern good and evil. They are making the separation. Matthew chapter 24: the angels are going to gather together his elect. Who are the angels? Men. Who are the elect? Men. Psalm 19:1: the heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament showeth his handiwork. The firmament showeth his handiwork. Keep that in mind. The firmament showeth his handiwork. Let's go see what his handiwork is. Let's go to Psalms chapter 111 and verse 7. Psalms 111 verse 7, which says, the works of his hands are verity and judgment. That's the works of his hands. The works of his hands are verity and judgment. All his commandments are sure. They stand fast forever and ever, and are done in truth and uprightness. So the spirit of verity and truth and judgment is the firmament that is separating the light from the dark. It is the firmament that's separating the children of the Jerusalem from above and the Jerusalem from below. But remember, this separation is happening every day, because there are people laboring in the vineyard who hold the truth, who are striving every day to make this happen, who are striving every day to help build blocks on the kingdom of God, to build the kingdom up. This is a day-to-day process, not a one-time event. People think all things fulfilled. All things is being fulfilled. Verse 8. And God, I'm sorry, let's go to Genesis, back to Genesis. Back to Genesis chapter 1, verse 8. And God called the firmament heaven. And the evening and the morning were the second day. Remember, it just came to mind. Remember Jacob's ladder, how he had a dream, he had a ladder, and angels were ascending and descending upon this ladder. And then he woke up and said, surely I knew it not, but God was in this place, and this is none other but the gates of heaven. And God called the firmament heaven, and the evening and the morning were the second day. And God said, let the waters under the heaven be gathered together unto one place, and let the dry land appear. And it was so. This is also spiritual talk. Because when you say, because remember the picture that he's trying to get us to get us to relay in our heads. You have the waters, which is the kingdom of the sons of God. Then you have the waters down here, which are the sons of God, but it's mixed. You have the wheat and the tares down here. They have not been resurrected yet. They don't keep their minds in heavenly places yet, but they are the elect angels whom one day will obtain salvation. Why? Because these angels that are up here come down and they do their job, but they're not coming down physically nowhere. They're already all on the earth. They're just condescending to men of a low estate. So God said, let the waters under the heaven be gathered together in one place and let the dry land appear. So we could see that he's still making the separation. We can see that the waters are what? The people. You got the wheat and the tares. The wheat, they will eventually in their time be resurrected just like their brethren was. But nonetheless, they're here, all on the earth. And you see the job never changes. He gathered the water together in one place, separated them from the dry land. Remember what we read in chapter in part 1, that the sea saw it and fled. They walked on dry land in the sea. There did they rejoice in him? He's still making that separation. Why? Because thy kingdom come, thy will be done on heaven, in heaven, as it is in earth as it is in heaven. That's why. Let the waters be gathered together in one place and let the dry land appear, and it was so. Let's go back to Galatians chapter 4. For it is, verse 27, for it is written, rejoice thou barren that bearest not, break forth and cry, thou that travailest not. For the desolate have, check this out, for the desolate, meaning the children from below, the desolate hath many more children than she with which has an husband. And who has a husband? The sons of God. It's so much more of them. Verse 28, now we, brethren, as Isaac was, are the children of the promise. But as then he that was born after the flesh persecuted him that was born after the spirit. And this is why we need to separate ourselves. The angels are coming to separate us, to give us knowledge, wisdom, and understanding on what we've been worshiping, what we're really dealing with. So we leave the harlot. So we start getting filled up with knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. And then we realize that we're actually being persecuted. We're actually being murdered. The city is actually not holy at all. It's silly. The city is full of blood. We realize that this is what the angel brings us to light. Born of the Spirit. We become children of the light, not children of the day. It says, even so, it is now. Nevertheless, what saith the scriptures? Cast out the bondwoman and her son, for the son of the bondwoman shall not be heir with the son of the free woman. So these angels, which are men, I hope that somebody gets some understanding, man. This is some good stuff. My goodness. The Jerusalem from below keeps marrying and mingling with these 7 nations. And the Jerusalem from above is free in Christ, and they will not marry like their fathers married, because they know what's coming. They already see the detrimental, what is caused to the whole nation of Israel. They're not going to do that. And this is why we go in Matthew chapter 22. Let's go to Matthew chapter 22. In verse 23, the same day came to him the Sadducees, which say that there is no resurrection, and asked him, saying, Master, Moses said, if a man die, having no children, his brother shall marry his wife, and raise up seed according to his brother. Now there were with us 7 brethren, and the first, when he had married a wife, deceased, and having no issue, left his wife unto his brother. Likewise the second also, and the third unto the 7th. And last of all, the woman died also. Therefore in the resurrection, whose wife shall she be of the 7? For they all had her. Now they're asking this question, and they don't even know what they're asking. They already have this they've been pre-doctrinated on what the resurrection is. So They're asking that question according to how they understand the resurrection. All of them die, then the physical body's raised up. Jesus is like, I'm going to answer that truthfully, but I'm not going to answer that according to your understanding. I'm going to answer it according to what the revelation really is, the resurrection really is. And it's, once I was blind, now I see. But let's read. Jesus answered and said unto them, Ye do err, not knowing the scriptures, nor the power of God. What is the power? You don't have the gospel. You don't have the truth. You don't have the way. You don't have the life. You err in the scriptures, and you don't know none of that. It says, For in the resurrection they neither marry nor are given in marriage, but are as the angels of God in heaven. Let's explain that, which you already know. So in the resurrection, when somebody who holds the light, when an angel gets a hold of somebody, raises them up from the dead, nurtures that seed. Remember that a child, as long as he's a child, he's still heir, but he's a child. He still needs to be under tutors and governors until the time appointed. The tutor and governor is not no governor, whatever. It's the angel. It's the man of God. It's the one who holds the light. And they should wait on their ministry. When they do that, then they are what? Resurrected. Well, they've been resurrected. They've just been nourished. Now they go out and do the same thing. Well, what the man of God is going to tell them to do is go back to your first love. Leave this whore alone. Leave the church. Leave Jerusalem alone and come back to your first love. Get washed and cleansed, and do not marry again. We're not talking about somebody who's physically married and have kids. That's how it's supposed to be. Duh. Just because you're a priest, you can't have a son. No, that's not what he's talking about. He's saying when you divorce this harlot, don't ever marry again. So who had her at the resurrection? They're thinking physical bodies. Nobody. Plain and simple. They just know not to marry physically to these, or better yet, they know not to mingle the holy seed with false doctrine. They know not to mingle the truth with the lie. They get that from Satan the devil. You know what Satan the devil is? It's the camps. That's what Satan the devil is. The head is the ancient, and the tail, the tail is the prophet. The head is the ancient, and the tail is the prophet. But that's why when you read in Revelation, the tail of Satan actually cast the stars, 1/3 of the stars, down to heaven. Who was the tail? The head. The tail is the body of Satan, which is the false prophet. Why? Because the priest uses the prophets to go out to the people and bring those goodly pearls back into his storehouse. Anyway. Verse 29, Jesus answered and said unto them, Ye do err, not knowing the scriptures, nor the power of God, for in the resurrection they neither marry nor are given in marriage. Why? Because they're not going to marry. And not saying that they're not going to have a husband and wife. They're not going to marry another God, another doctrine, another understanding. Beware of the leaven of the Pharisees. That is what's making them children of the devil in the first place. But verse 31, but as touching the resurrection of the dead, have ye not read that which was spoken unto you by God, saying, I am the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. God is not the God of the dead, but the living. I hope we learned something. So the angels that sinned are the sons of God, and they married or they mingled the doctrine with these 7 nations, and now we have a confused doctrine. Now it's confusion. Now we got people on Facebook saying, I'm done with religion. I'm done with the camps. I'm leaving the church. And guess what? Satan just trying to pull her back. You, the prophets, y'all just try to pull her back into bondage. Just continue, just hold out. Satan is not even allowing you to take care of your family because of carnal-minded laws. All right, let's go to Luke chapter 3. Let's go to this is my last place. Luke chapter 3. Ananias and Sapphira, Luke chapter 3 and verse 2. Annas and Caiaphas being the high priest, the word of God came unto John, the son of Zacharias, in the wilderness. And he came into all the country about Jordan, preaching the baptism of repentance for the remission of sins. Skip down to verse 7. Then said he to the multitude that came forth to be baptized of him, O generation of vipers, who hath warned you to flee from the wrath to come? But notice right here it said in verse 7, then said he to the multitude that came forth. Now let's read in Matthew another instance where this happened, and it's going to say not multitude, but it's going to say something else. Matthew chapter 3 verse 5. Matthew chapter 3 verse 5, which says, then went out to him Jerusalem and all Judea and all the region round about Jordan, verse 6, and were baptized of him in Jordan, confessing their sins. Verse 7, check this out. But when they saw many of the Pharisees and the Sadducees come to his baptism, he said unto them, O generation of vipers, who hath warned you to flee from the wrath to come? So what is this saying? Now we read in Luke that the multitude, it says multitude that came forth, but then when we read in Matthew, it let us know who that multitude was, which was the Pharisees. So did the multitude shape shift into the Pharisees, or was the multitude the Pharisees? The multitude was the Pharisees, because we like to say these angels shape-shifted. They turned into people, they turned into hands, and they turned into flying tongues because of a carnal mind. Let's go to John chapter 20, verse 10. John chapter 20, verse 10, which says, then the disciples went away again. Hold on. Yeah. I'm sorry. All right. Then the disciples went away again unto their own home, but Mary stood without at the sepulchre weeping, and as she wept, she stooped down and looked into the sepulchre, and seeing 2 angels, the Bible said angels now, right? Seeing 2 angels in white sitting, the one at the head and the other at the feet, where the body of Jesus had lain. And they say unto her, Woman, why weepest thou? She said unto them, Because they have taken away my Lord, and I know not where they have laid him. Let's go to Luke chapter 24. And let's read the same thing, just in a different way. Luke 24 and 3. And they entered in and found not the body of the Lord Jesus. And it came to pass, as they were much perplexed thereabout, behold, 2 men stood by them in shining garments. And as they were afraid, they bowed down their faces to the earth. They said unto them, Why seek ye the living among the dead? Now, we just read in John that it said 2 angels. Now it says 2 men. So did these angels shapeshift into men, or were these angels men? And then it said men in shining garments. Come on, we have to know, man. We have to know that the linen is the whiteness. The linen is the garment. The linen is what we are clothed with. It's righteousness. What are we clothed with? It's in our minds. Our spirit man is clothed with that. So when you see 2 men clothed in righteousness, you can't tell by these eyes that they're clothed in righteousness. You can only tell when they start to speak. And then you automatically know what language they speak. You know if that man is of God or not. So angels don't turn into people. Angels don't shapeshift. Do men shapeshift? No. I don't know how to do that yet. So, but that's it. I gotta go. I hope y'all got some understanding. Peace.